Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Sethum and welcome back to another video for Conan Exiles. Today in this video folks, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how I do my Unnamed City run for the bosses, in which I farm all of the relevant bosses that drop all of the nice stuff that we need in this game. So that'll be of course for the fragments of power and obviously farming them for the amazing weapons that they can drop. So if you guys enjoy this video and find it useful and informative, please do not forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content. Also, for those interested, you can always find me on the Seftopia Discord. Links to this, of course, you can find down below in the video description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. So, going back to what I was saying, I'm going to be showing you the path that I take to farm all of the bosses, what I take with me, and the way I go about farming these bosses for the purposes of primarily getting the Swords of Crom, the Predatory Blade, and other such weapons that I will equip on my thralls. Now obviously I am not expecting this in this video that I will get the Predatory Blade or the Sword of Crom, as these are quite rare items to get, but with patience and time you will be able to get them. So before we get into it, let's look at what I've got in my inventory. I've got a set of Silent Legion armor. I've got the Nightwalker mask and the Sandstorm mask, which will come in handy. I do recommend having that. These are just some items in case I want to harvest stuff, but very important here, I've got healing arrows and snake arrows from the altar of Set. Got some dragon bone, lots of water, some aloe vera potion, some wraps, and some food of course, because obviously we will be in there for a while, so we'll need to make sure that we always have plenty of food. In terms of weapons, I'm going to use the bows. So these would be the dragon bows, one equipped with the snake arrows, the other one with healing arrows. And I am also going to have an axe and a shield just in case I need it. Obviously, I'm going to put the aloe vera potion in my hotbar, and my primary weapon will be the two-handed dragon bone weapon. So the path I'm going to go is, we're going to start from here. This is where the obelisk is. We're going to go to the boss closest and just kind of go around. We'll then take this boss, we'll go and do the dragon and the watcher, then come to this one right here. We're going to ignore these guys over here because they're not really worth the time. We could do them, but they don't really drop anything worth getting. The bat boss, and finally the two-handed skeleton. So that's kind of pretty much the way I'll go. It's just a big loop. So for this I will also take the Relic Hunter Treasure Seeker. Obviously she's got the Flawless Hyperborean armor set. She will be carrying Teal of Sorrow. I could also do this for the purposes of speeding up with the Sword of Crom, but obviously because most people will not necessarily have it, we're going to go with Teal of Sorrow. It's very easy to obtain. The Flawless Hyperborean armor set can be obtained from a thrall that can spawn here. It is a very rare spawn, or a thrall that spawned during the purges. So with all that out of the way, it's time to make our way to the Unnamed City, and let's get this thing started. Before that, I'm going to make sure everything is disabled in terms of admin commands. I am going to leave the time of day set to noon just in case we don't want to be dealing with the night. I want everybody to be able to see what's going on and the environment. So apart from that, all other relevant admin commands have been disabled, so I will need to eat and drink. I don't have infinite stamina or food or any of that stuff. So for some odd reason, it didn't take the action key the first time I go. So the first time I tried to do this, so let's give that a go. Obviously I took it on a second turn. So I'm going to start from the obelisk. We want to get the heck out of here quickly because we don't want to take corruption. We will be going through corrupted areas. So we're going to go kind of this way. So as you saw, as I looked to my thrall, there was the archivist location. We're going to go from that to the left and just kind of make our way that way. Now obviously we'll have to fight through undead, and one thing that's really annoying is this sound thing. As you can see, there's no sound. Now notice that my thralls kind of wanted to go in her own way. I'm just going to let her do that. That is still a corrupted area, and I don't want to be stacking up too much corruption. She seems to be attacking whatever the heck that thing is, that serpent man. But I don't know what's going on. there seems to be a bit of... Oh, hey. So I'll deal with this guy. I'm going to have to try and kill that serpent man quickly. And here we go. We have a sandstorm coming in. So I'm going to go and help out the thrall with that stupid serpent man. And that should sort that problem out. Then come back here, wait for the sandstorm to pass. And that is why... What's going on here? Is this like a double spawn or something? Okay, oh. Okay, right, cool. Get the heck out of here now. So I'll wait out the sandstorm. Now this is why you want to have a sandstorm mask, because this still does take a while, but you will have to go through sandstorms. Okay, it's been a while. The sandstorm has passed, so we are very close to the first boss. Put my old helmet back on. She's still following me, so we're just going to go around this building to my right. And so this is my location on the map currently. As you can see, I have marked all of the locations for the bosses with skulls. I'm just making sure. Actually, I just remembered. I'm going to show you what my attributes are. So as you can see, it's an encumbrance build with vitality and strength. And whatever I had left, I put in grit. And that's kind of like how I've set out my character. I remember I didn't put that at the beginning of the video. Not that it's relevant, but I just wanted to show that to everyone. So over here in the bushes, you will always have undead skeletons. They are lying on the ground, so they are difficult to see. Do bear that in mind. Okay, we got these two down. There should be another one or two around this corner. There we go. This guy is an archer, and it does help if you keep in mind how much stamina you have remaining. There we go. Oh, there's another one right there. So as you can see, even with Teal of Sorrow, the thrall is still pretty darn powerful. So around this corner to my right is the first boss. Now normally it has two skeletons. I'm thinking we probably aggroed one of them as we came in. So yeah, there's just one skeleton remaining. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to aggro the boss, then let the thrall deal with the boss if she comes my way. If not, I will just keep the boss busy while my thrall pretty much deals with the skeleton. Now the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to try and be between the boss and my thrall so that the boss hits the thrall and aggro's on it. Once that's happened, I will try and find my way in a position where I'm behind this boss so I can attack it but without getting hit. My thrall should be able to take in all of that damage quite easily. If she struggles at any point, or I think she's in danger, or I want her to heal up, I will use the healing arrows. Very important note here, when the boss turns towards me, I just run away and reposition myself so that my thrall is in between me and the boss, thus picking up the aggro. I was going to say, very important here, that you need to know you can always fire a healing arrow into the ground right below you and use that to heal as well. That would be to heal yourself. That always works. However, it only works when you're not taking damage. But equally, it does heal up quite a decent amount of HP. So even so, if you fire maybe one or two arrows into the ground below you, you should heal up quite quickly despite taking damage. And the same thing applies to when you're trying to heal your thrall. Now obviously there's a massive difference in HP between myself and the thrall. I've got like somewhere around 400 HP, whereas my thrall's got 7,000 or over 7,000 HP. So that's going to be a lot harder to heal. So 2 to 3 arrows does the trick. Now this one, for some odd reason, seems to be one of the bosses that takes a bit longer to take down. I'm not sure what that's down to. So as you can see, I just fired an arrow below her feet. She didn't need it, but I just wanted to show what happened. She does heal really, really quick, and these arrows are worth all the effort of making them. Over here behind the fire pit, there's a chest. Sometimes you get some good stuff in it, sometimes you don't. Always worth a check because it's easy and accessible, especially after you killed the boss. We're gonna go down this way. Be careful when you jump down. To the right there are sleeping skeletons, as you can see right there. I didn't aggro them this time around, so I'm just gonna leave it at that. Don't want to be fighting any and every single NPC on the way to the bosses. Avoid unnecessary contact and fights with these things if you can. This should take somewhere around 30 to 40 minutes for a complete run. Normally on servers, I think NPCs tend to spawn within 30 minutes or something like that. So next boss is right in front of us, and then once we finish with him, we'll go to the area that I just looked at, like down there. So down there to my right, there should be the dragon and the watcher, which is another skeleton boss. I'm going to heal up as well, I think, a tad bit. I should not necessarily need a lot of health for this anyways. It will be my thrall that will be taking most of the damage. And do bear in mind, this boss does have a bleed when he charges at you. That will be nasty, especially if you're run low on health, so try and not let him do that. You do that by not being too far away from him when he's focused on you. Same thing as before. I'm gonna let my thrall tank the boss. If he turns towards me, I just sidestep. Obviously I am wearing heavy armor, and then put my thrall between myself and the boss. This will be a strategy that I will be using throughout the entire farming run. And obviously I don't have the capability to tank these bosses head on like my thrall does, which is why I am using it as a thrall. Notice that this guy's health is going down mighty quick. Also, for those that don't know, it's obviously logical that undead creatures don't take bleed nor poison damage. They used to at one point in the game, but the devs have fixed that, so that's no longer a thing. Now this guy does, I believe, drop the predatory blade. He did drop quite a few for me when I tested it out, so who knows what will happen. Predatory blade is a good blade. Not one for using combos, but when you do normal attacks, it does do a decent amount of damage. So I'm going to take the legendary repair kit and the shard of power, and any legendary weapon or item that these guys will drop. So my thrall didn't take too much damage, as you can see. Very easy boss to solo. So we're going to go in that direction. To the right underneath that building structure, there's a little dragoning thing, a little dragon. We're going to avoid that. We're going to go kind of like in this direction, and at some point we'll get to some steps where the red mother is, so that'd be the red dragon. Definitely worth farming because she does have a lot of good stuff to loot when you do get them. Of course, do bear in mind they are rare occasions and rare drops. Over there should be a baby. There you go. Same thing on the opposite side of the red mother. There's always two babies here. You can always farm them for the dragon bone. Definitely worth getting them if you are like me and using the dragon bone weapon set. I do prefer these. They do have a decent damage on them and are very, very easy to repair. That do not require a lot of materials in terms of repairs. So for this, what I'm going to be doing is I am going to be stacking up poisons whilst my thrall does the bulk of the work. So I have kited the boss towards me. I've aggroed it. I'm going to stack some poison on it. Once it gets close to me, if my thrall has not picked her up, which she wouldn't have because she's quite far away from me, I'm just going to basically run around in a circle and try and avoid that thing. I'm not sure why I didn't do that much damage. That used to be a one-shot deal. I guess I'm lucky this time around, but you want to avoid that fire breath by all means. I'm going to be up here and I'm just going to start dotting it with poison. I'm going to stack up 10 and then keep the stack running, and that's pretty much the plan. In the process, I will of course be keeping an eye on my thrall's HP, and if at any point it needs a heal, I will throw a couple of arrows in her direction. You shouldn't really need 100 arrows, but I do like to come in this area over prepared just in case. This is a very difficult area, I suppose, compared to the rest of the map. I think the area that beats this in terms of difficulty would be the volcano, and that's primarily due to that stupid lava and how glitchy that whole area is. But apart from that, this is one of the more difficult areas to navigate. As you can see, my thrall's at the moment kind of like in front of the boss, just keeping it busy. Its health is going down because she's got Tilted Sorrow. She does... Oh, did not expect that to happen, but it did. So I didn't expect the tail wipe or swipe to knock me off my feet, but it did happen. Obviously, if you can try, due to the build that you've got, or the build that I've got, if I can try and get kind of cripples on her, that does add a bit to the damage. But if I don't have a good position, then so be it. As long as I can keep the 10 stacks of bleed on her, she should be fine. Close to this boss, there is what is known as the Watcher. That is a two-handed mace skeleton. Now that guy is somewhat more challenging in that he does have a range on that two-handed hammer. It is an AoE, and so you can run the risk of being hit even if you stood behind him. So you do want to be careful and prepped with heals just in case you need them for that guy. Obviously, once again, my thrall will do most of the damage, and I'll show you how to get to him once this wonderful dragon is down. So he's down. I'm gonna go and well, she's down because it's the Red Mother. Don't know what that is. So those dots, no clue what they are. I'm gonna go and loot her if she gets... Okay, we didn't get anything interesting, so I'll just take what I need. I don't want the silver, don't want any of that. I'm gonna obviously harvest her for the dragon bone. To me, that is a good resource to have. I mean, you can take all the other bits with you if you want them, but I don't really need anything else that she drops apart from the dragon horns and the dragon bone. Dragon horns do take a while to stack up, but you can use them to make arrows. I've just not made any, so okay, so that should be fine. You can also keep the brimstone if you wish, but again, I'll drop... I don't know, do I drop... well, whatever. You can also harvest the dragons around this area in the Unnamed City. There are a ton for the fire glands. So we're gonna go... So basically, actually, before we go anywhere, right behind her there tends to sometimes be a small chest. As you can see, this is where the Red Mother spawned, and there's a little tiny chest that will give you another fragment of power. Now obviously this will not spawn there all the time, but always have a look at that. So I thought I might as well point that out for those that are farming the shards of power. Up the steps to my right, and then we'll take a left, and we should see like a structure that we'll have to climb on top of. Right there, that's where we want to be. So we'll have to climb up, and I find, for me, that this is the easiest path up right here. There are two skeletons, so we'll try and do this without aggroing them, if at all possible. So the way we're going to go is I'm going to go up to that point right there, regain my stamina from there, and then climb all the way up top. With what I have and what I'm wearing, I should be able to easily make it. Climbing in this game is sometimes quite glitchy and dopey, so hopefully we don't have any problems such as that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. See, there we go. Now if you do fall, try and grab the wall quickly before you hit the bottom. You don't really want to fall and hit the bottom because you will take damage, and if you end up aggroing the skeletons around the area, you'll have to fight them. So yeah, it's not going to be a fun time. It's not going to be difficult, but still, you know, it can be avoided. So let's give this another go. Alright, cool. So now I'm going to slide to the edge, kind of like so. Stamina's up. Climb the wall. Now you want to kind of slide slightly to the right. Don't go too far. If you slide to the right or left whilst climbing, you do consume a lot more stamina. We want to preserve it as much as possible, and what I have should be more than enough for me to get up here, as you can see. We'll climb this bit right there. In front of us you will see that there are two skeletons. Don't fret about it because they won't aggro on you. As you can see, they haven't done that with me if you stay on the edge. I'm just gonna run this way now. The reason I'm running this way is because I want my thrall to spawn behind me. There we go, there she is, as she will be taking this boss pretty much on by herself. I am going to be supporting her with arrows. Now you can use a shield and an axe, or a shield or a shield and a sword, I meant to say. Equally, you can use the two-handed weapons if you feel like it. Just be careful how you do so. So I'm gonna aggro him with the bow. Both to his right and to his left there are skeletons. I just want to fight this boss alone, not the ads as well. So now I'm going to try and get him to focus on my thrall. He does kind of move quite a bit with his swings. So notice that my thrall will get a lot of knockbacks and knockdowns from this weapon. This is a nasty weapon to go up against. So this is why I'm showing you, because just look at all those knockbacks and knockdowns that he does with these things. That means they do a ton of interrupt, and they do a lot of damage on you as well, so do bear that in mind. So luckily they're fighting down here and out of the range of the skeletons. All I need to pray for is that my thrall doesn't get knocked off the sledge that we're fighting on. If that's the case, what I will do is I will be running around with the boss after me to get the thrall to respawn behind me. So I'm just going to use the game mechanics to get the thrall to respawn behind me. I am going to use the two-handed weapon to try and get a couple of hits, and you'll see that I will take damage from this boss from time to time, even though I am not in direct line of his hits. It's just the way this weapon works. So luckily they're going to end up fighting down here. This is actually quite good for me. He's kind of pinned in between me and my thrall. I just need to be careful when he does look like he's going to turn towards me. I'm just going to have to back away and let my thrall re-aggro him. But this is a good spot to fight him, because your thrall can't be knocked off this platform, and as long as he's focusing on the thrall, you can also hit him from behind. Just be careful. You want to be perfectly behind him, and when he does his heavy attacks, I think the third or fourth is a rotating attack, or like a spin attack. That's the one that will hit you. Alternately, you can put down a healing arrow into the ground right at his feet, and that way it'll cover you and your thrall as well. So even if you do get hit, you will be healed by the smoke or powder or cloud of healing, whatever. So it has dropped a nice weapon. I do like this one just because it doesn't have durability on it. I think that Ghost Axe is a pretty good PvP weapon, especially if you equip it on multiple thralls in your base, and people that will want to invade your base will end up eventually with a lot less stamina and health. I mean, there are ways of combating that, such as having a performer or having the heart of a hero, which does heal the corruption, but I think it is a pretty darn decent weapon, especially for PvP. I also like the fact that it doesn't have durability on it, and I missed that grab. Took a bit of damage, but that's fine. We should be able to heal by the time we get to the next boss. So that is it for this particular area. 2 bosses down. There is another boss in this area, so I'm going to show you what we just did. We started with this one, went to this one, did the dragon, then this, the watcher, and now we're going to the wraith. So that'd be, I can't remember what he's called now, but he's basically the glowy skeleton. Before we actually set off, just in case we bump into any wandering skeletons, I'm just going to heal here. And actually I might want to repair my sword. I could go a bit longer without repairing it quite easily, but I'll just repair it now, and this should last me till the end of this video easily. So we're going to go towards that structure in front of me, then we'll just kind of go straight ahead, and at one point we'll see some structures and I'll point them out when we do, and that's where the boss should be. Now do bear in mind, this boss is a wandering boss, so if someone else has been there before you but not engaged it or just aggroed it, it will, in theory, wander a specific path. So there's like archways here, as you can see. So it should be, let me have a look. So we're gonna end up having to go down this way. So it should be either in front of the archway before me, so right there. So I wanted that path, and he should be somewhere around here at this point. Now obviously it's only me and a couple of friends on the server, and so I'm pretty certain no one's aggroed him. So I'm gonna go and fight the skeletons on my way in. If my thrall, after fighting this specific skeleton, starts running off in a direction, I am gonna follow it and let it kill out all of the skeletons. So basically what I'm doing is I am allowing my thrall to clear the area, because we'll be coming back out this way, and some of these guys do wander about. Also, with the weight, you also want to avoid their attacks. Each attack that has landed on you will apply a small portion of corruption. You want to avoid that simply because the next boss that we will be fighting, which will be the flying death or winged death boss, which is pretty much the albino bat boss, is in a corrupted area. And unlike the dragon, which also was in a corrupted area, the area is quite vast with the winged death, and we won't be able to kite him out. He comes a certain distance, then he just wants to walk back into his spawn point. So we'll have to fight him in the corrupted area. So notice that, you know, I am trying my best to avoid the skeleton's axe attacks. Also, because he's got axe, he will apply bleed, so do also be prepared for that. So I'm gonna take that with me, and so she's going towards another skeleton that she knows. Interestingly enough, she's walking and not running, which is what she normally does. So I'm just gonna let her do her thing. Think of it this way: you're basically using your thrall as a bloodhound to sniff out where all the enemies are. So might as well let her do her job, because she's gonna do a mighty fine job. So she's, at this point, he should be either to my left or my right. Okay, definitely not this. This is not the right archway, but he will wander down this path. He should be in front of me now, so somewhere around there. This is the archway you're looking for, if nobody's aggroed or been this way. So I'm just gonna quickly make my way. Okay, there we go. You can see two of these ghost skeletons. The taller one is the boss. I'm gonna try and aggro the small one first, just to keep things simple. Now you can do both of them at the same time if you want. It is absolutely doable with this format of having the thrall deal with the NPCs, but I want to simplify this, and this is a guide for people I want to do this, and that may not necessarily be very good at combat in Conan Exiles. So obviously I want to make it as simple and user friendly as possible. This is the boss. I'm going to avoid all of his attacks, whack him once or twice. My thrall should now engage him whenever that happens, so we'll just kind of run around. Actually, I'm going to bring him down here. I don't like fighting him on the hill. I don't know why my thrall's just walking about aimlessly. Okay, she's creeping slowly towards him, so I'm just going to have to avoid his attacks for now. Of course, you can just face tank him and fight him, but just remember, every attack he lands on you, just like the NPCs in this area, will apply corruption. So I did get hit by the axe there. You saw the outer edges of the screen get a purple tint sort of thing, just like that right there. That means he's hit me and he has applied corruption to me. Corruption does reduce the health and stamina pools that I have, so that is very important for this area. You do want to give yourself the best chance for surviving. Obviously you can remove it with the Heart of a Hero by consuming it, or by being next to a performer whilst it is dancing, of course. This is one of the bosses that does also, of course, drop the Sword of Crom. The other one that drops the Sword of Crom is the Watcher, which we did, and that was the guy or the skeleton that was above the Red Mother or the Red Dragon. And I think yes, and as far as I remember, the one at the fire pit also drops the Sword of Crom. So these are the 3 bosses in this whole area that drop the Sword of Crom. There is another skeleton who can drop the Sword of Crom, but I'm believing that is possibly a glitch. I have only seen him drop it once ever. I should have recorded it, but I never did. That was just one of my runs that I did in this area, but I have only seen it off of him. It's possible that it might have been a glitch, because to my knowledge and from my tests, it's this ghost skeleton with the one next to the fire pit, so that would be the very first boss that we did in this video, and the one above the dragon that dropped the Swords of Crom. Now to my right, there will be some baby dragons. We want to avoid those unless you want to farm them for the raw resources. And there should also be a big green dragon boss. You can fight him if you want to. I don't have any reason to fight him. He does not drop anything worth getting. He is just a normal big dragon, and he will drop... Does he drop anything actually? No, I don't think he does. He's just a boss that you fight and you don't really get much of anything out of him. Obviously to my left there will be a structure where there's a giant snake boss. So I just showed you it on the map. It's kind of like inside of a building or temple sort of thing. So this is where the bat boss is, right in front of those in front of me, between those pillar-like structures. So you need to go around it. I'm going to try and avoid all of the other little minions around him. You'll see what I mean in a second. So the snake boss, again, just another world boss that drops a skeleton key. Nothing really that important. So you saw the little bat on the edge there. We're going to avoid that. We're just going to go downhill. In front you will see a bridge. That's a bridge underneath which we want to be after we complete this boss, but I'll explain that step when we get to it. So to my right now, we're going to go up to these steps, I think. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then take a right. So that path right there, that is a bridge that I just showed you. We want to be underneath it after we finish with this boss. Let me just show you exactly what's going on the map. So we're coming in this way. This is where we'll fight the boss. That's the bridge right there, and that's the next boss. So obviously if we're on the bridge, we're going to have to jump off the bridge, possibly take damage. And so that's why we don't want to be on the bridge. And I'll show you when we get to it exactly how to avoid it. So in front of me is the Winged Death. This guy doesn't really drop all that much in terms of important stuff, but he does drop the Shards of Power. Or, yeah, the Shards of Power, which are really always good. You can craft stuff with them. You can add feat points. I believe they're called feat points. So definitely worth farming them. You can trade them. You can, you know, you've got a couple of uses for it. Same as before. We're going to stay behind him, but notice that even though I'm behind him, I am still taking a small amount of damage. There are 1 or 2 attacks that do reach behind us, behind him, to the point of hitting us. Also, as I said, we are fighting him in a corrupted area. I tried kiting him out. There really isn't much of hope for that. This arena is quite well designed. It's kind of like in a U shape with only 1 entry point, and kiting him out of it into a non-corrupted area, it's kind of difficult to do. I think he only goes so far before he returns back to his spawn point. So, well, I'll just fight him here where he stands. Obviously, because we're going to have to throw once he's hit me whilst trying to kite him. The other problem that we'll encounter is during the kiting process, if he's hit me, my throw will have aggroed on him, and then we'll start attacking it, therefore get the aggro. Now right here you can also get one of those little small chests that I showed you before. behind the red dragon, so always have a look at that. In that chest sometimes you can also get gold and silver, some other goodies, so definitely worth scoping it out. So we're going to go down this way. Remember that bridge that I said? We're going to go either to the left or to the right of it. I'm going to take the left path because that will be a slight detour, but it will help me avoid a decent amount of skeletons until I'm ready to aggro them, and you'll see what I mean in a bit. So they'll be standing like those guys over there, the skeletons that I'm trying to avoid for the moment. We'll have to fight them at the end, but for the moment I don't want to accidentally aggro them. So I'm going to come in this way. Right at the end of this path there should be the boss. And the way we're going to work this one out, there's a ton of skeletons. I am going to just walk towards them. I normally prefer to start from this area right here. You can do it from the opposite area as well. I'm just going to walk towards them and aggro them that way. You can try and shoot an arrow at them, but what happens is when you do shoot an arrow, you will aggro multiple skeletons, and your thrall will just go in there and probably cause more problems than it actually solves. So what I want to do is I want to walk towards him until he aggro's on me and wants to attack me. I will let him hit me once, and then wait for my thrall to get stuck in, pretty much. Now she's taken on the archer, which is good. I will deal with the melee guys. Do bear in mind there are archers. Archers do die fairly quick, so they are easy to take care of them. Obviously take care of the archers, don't let them do their thing, otherwise it will end up hurting. As you can see, my thrall wanted to go towards the other skeletons, but because I went too far, it despawned and respawned behind me, so that is going to be a thing. But now that she's aggroed on them, I'm just going to let her do her own thing. Anything that comes towards me, I will take out myself. The way I'm doing it, and the reason I'm doing it, is because I don't want to aggro the boss just yet. I want to deal with the skeletons before I actually have to worry about the boss. Now there is a good chance that at some point my thrall will kill most of the skeletons and leave, I don't know, maybe 2-3 skeletons behind, and then just make a run for the boss. That's always a possibility. But in that case, she'll be fighting the boss and I'll be dealing with the skeletons, and that'll be 1 or 2, maybe 3 at the most at the same time, which is fairly easy to deal with. Also, you can use whatever weapon you want. I do find the daggers highly ineffective simply because you cannot stack bleed on them. I prefer the two-handed weapons for this specific area. I find them just as efficient. Also, just as before with the winged death or the albino bat thing and the red mother or the red dragon, behind here there can be a little chest that, or there used to be from time to time, a little chest that spawned in with a fragment. I haven't seen it recently, but when this area was new, there definitely was one, because I know I looted it. Things might have changed, that might have been a glitch, God knows what, I don't know, but do bear that in mind. Now obviously this guy is a two-handed sword boss, so you can do quite a decent amount of damage as long as you're behind him and your thrall's in front of him, taking the most of the damage. You should be alright. If he turns towards you, just pretty much avoid him. Roll away or sidestep away depending on what you're wearing. I prefer heavy armor for to reduce damage, but if you're wearing medium armor, you can very easily roll away. Also very important to mention here, now I could have used the captain or the bandit leader, which do more damage, sorry about that, which do more damage than this particular thrall, but I imagine not a lot of people may necessarily have them, and the relic hunter treasure seekers have been upped in their damage output. So that is it for this run. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. It is a very easy run to farm, and this should have taken me anywhere between 30 to 40 minutes depending on what happens. 50 at the most, I would have said. And so by the time you finish the run, you can restart the run again and reform these bosses on official servers or servers that have the same spawn timers at the official servers, meaning you can continuously farm these bosses until you get what you want. Obviously a lot of people will probably be after the Sword of Crom, which is definitely worth having for your thralls. If you have a thrall with a Sword of Crom in his hand, it will kill stuff a lot quicker. Very powerful weapon it is. Obviously the Predatory Blade, and there's a lot of neat weapons and armor sets that you can get in time from this specific area. That's it from me for this video, folks. I do hope that you have enjoyed it and found it useful and informative. If you have, please do not forget to support me in the channel by hitting that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and haven't already for more similar content from myself. And if you have just subscribed, why not check out some of my other videos and guides here on this channel? Who knows, you might just enjoy them. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you get notified when I upload new videos and content. And of course, for those interested, you can always find me on the Sethopia Discord. Links to this you can find down below in the video's description, as well as in a pinned comment from myself. Until next time, stay safe, folks.